Hey everyone, this episode of The Horror Show is brought to you by Mike. Thank you very much, Mike. We really appreciate it. Mike donated over at patreon.com/IHateHorror. If you can support us monetarily, we really appreciate it. Patreon is a kind of like a subscription donation service, and it really helps us out. We try to do some bonus content for you guys and live streams, and Google Hangouts will actually be dropping a video version of part 1 of Serial Killer on there, and a bonus episode this week. I'm probably going to put it up tonight, actually. So check that out, and thank you again, Mike, for the donation. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors earned $47.2 million on its 1987 release. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, if you factor in current ticket prices, you'd be looking at somewhere between $91 and $101 million. So yeah, it's a lot. But even with that massive success, New Line is again deciding to dump Wes Craven for Part 4. And we won't see the father of Freddy for another 7 years. For the next 3 movies, we will see the good, the bad, and the ugly of Freddy. But who better to replace Wes Craven than Rennie Harlan? From The Horror Show and Bloody Disgusting, this is Serial Killer. Hello everybody and welcome to The Horror Show. Show it dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror events.
What?
I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
We are back with Serial Killer Part 2. Part 2. Is do mean 2?
It does in Hot Shots.
I know. It's probably not the case. This week we are talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 4, 5,
6. Yes.
Man, I was excited for these. I was excited for these.
This might be a unfairly beloved series.
Which was kind of what, like, the purpose of talking about it. Because in my head, when we discussed it, I was like, is the series that good? Because, like, I know I like 1. I know I like 3. And 4, 5, and 6 are definitely more foreign to me. I hadn't seen them in forever.
I knew I hated 5. I thought 4 would be on the same level as 3 for some reason. Mm-hmm. I just remember not hating it.
Yeah.
And I knew 6 is garbage, but entertaining.
Dude, 6 might be like one of my favorite ones.
Because 6 is, but make no mistake, it's a terrible movie.
Yeah. Oh, it makes no sense.
Freddy is flying on a broom.
Like the first time you see him. The first time you see him. It was one of the most insane things I'd ever seen. Like, I don't remember anything about that besides the people involved, the Nintendo, and that's it. Playing video games. It was crazy to watch that. Like, and also, we've watched so many movies, and I'm one of those guys that checks the time constantly. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? How much time do I have left in this? That one, I did it, and I was an hour in. And I was like, it was the first time it's ever happened. It's usually like 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in. I'm like, oh, Christ, I've got the whole movie left. This was the first time where I was like, holy shit. Like, it flew, but it was insanity.
Six is an enigma, because if you rate it as a movie, I mean, it's bad. Every aspect is bad. Yeah. But It's funny.
Yeah.
And honestly, I hate the backstory of like the town just losing their mind because Freddy took all their kids away, like the Pied Piper. Like,
I mean, at least somebody like. I mean, that's one of my problems with all these things. Like honestly, why were people building camps next to Camp Crystal Lake and being like, "Yeah, just don't go to that camp," like, as if he was bound to Camp Crystal Lake and couldn't just walk over. Like, wasn't that in 3?
It's in 2 or 3. It's one of the ones we just watched.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah,
it's separated by the woods.
Yeah.
And they like go to make out like 5 feet into the woods.
They take a hike and they're there.
Yeah.
And
like why wouldn't he be able to walk?
And why wouldn't the whole town just be like, we're fucking out of here?
Demo it.
Yeah. Like, so this is the only time that I know of where they were like, yeah, the town is dead because he killed all the kids. And everyone left. Anyone with a brain left. And anyone without a brain is sitting here like driving a bumper car in circles.
I'm having like an internal tug of war as we're talking because I keep remembering other parts of 6.
Yeah. We'll get to 6.
Like the fucking beginning.
We'll get to 6. So 4, 5, and 6, Freddy is like a cultural phenomenon at this point. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why. Because not in the sense that these are like, I mean, I know you don't like 2, but like there's nothing about.
Honestly, after watching these ones, 2 might be a little higher.
Yeah, for sure.
I still didn't enjoy it, but
like there's nothing in any of them to me that I'm like, man, let's make Freddy dolls, which they did. Let's make Freddy CDs. Let's make Freddy fucking everything. They made Freddy everything. There's nothing in the first 3 that you're like, wow.
I don't get how you go from number 1 where he's just a serial killer and like scary to rapping with the Fat Boys in like the span of 2 years.
Yeah. And not just doing that, but it was like again, he just doesn't do anything. Like there wasn't like a movie where he was like super over the, yeah, there is a movie where he's super over the top. It's 6. Yeah. It's the last one. And that's the one where he loses his fucking mind. And it's just like,
they must have just been like, you know what, this is the last one we're making, just fucking go nuts.
Yeah, because even 5, I sent Joe a text at the time and I was like, oh, 5 is when he really loses it.
5 is when he remembers the pop that he got when he said bitch, because he says it every other fucking word.
Says it every other word. And then in 6, I think he only drops it like one other time. So, and 5 was the first one where he's like, bitch.
I'll save it.
But yeah, man, this is just awesome. And I loved this series. I loved doing it, but these last 3 are brutal. And again, we got probably a dozen emails from people saying that they saw this at 6.
Yeah.
So like when I was saying that last week, I wasn't judging anyone, but like, it's like a fact. Like we got one from, I forget who, but they were.
My wife heard you. She was listening to the episode.
Oh.
She heard you say that, and she was like, "Oh, you should have called my sister." So she watched it at 6.
Dude, parents were just like one girl was like, "Oh my," I forget her name. I'm sorry, but she was like, "Yeah, my mom." It was in '91. She was 6. She was like, her mom took her to like part 3 or something, and I was like, "Why?" Like in theaters, like they were like the mom was like, "Can't miss this one."
That would have been 6.
Yeah.
Freddy's dead.
6. Yeah. Which, oh my God.
Imagine seeing that in theaters.
It's 6.
It's a nightmare. Honestly, though, I said like this is unfairly loved. I still kind of enjoy it.
I do, but in a different way.
But it's not like a horror movie.
And it's not a horror movie at all. It's not a horror franchise. It's an insane franchise. It's a fucking train wreck. Like, it's just crazy. And fucking the stories you read about Bob Shea don't get any better from 4 to 6. Like,
no.
Remy, or what's his name? Rennie Harlan is involved in parts.
He's a jerk.
5 and 6.
Die Hard 2 sucks.
He's a jerk.
Cliffhanger. Fucking rollerball.
He's a total idiot. But
Cutthroat Island.
Bob Shea, the producer, who, as we spoke about last week, is involved in literally everything, every part of these movies, interjected himself, decided once Rennie got in that he was like, I don't want to talk to him, and refused to talk to him, even when he was acting. So he had to direct somebody that wasn't talking or listening.
To be fair, though, Rennie could barely speak English.
Yeah, I know. He's in the documentary.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. And
Did you hear about how he got the job?
No.
Talk about this because this is for part 4.
Yeah.
So he directed part 4.
Oh, it's part 4. Sorry, yeah.
No, I don't think he said anything different.
Oh, okay.
They told him no. And then they kept auditioning, and like they didn't find anybody that they liked. And Harlan just kept showing up, like just kept hanging around apparently. And they said that he was so poor and like so persistent that he would just show up in the same clothes and fucking stink. Everybody started to notice him. And then finally they were like,
It's so ridiculous.
this is right here. They had to hire him so he could afford some new clothes, Bob Shea says.
Oh my God. See, and Bob Shea's such a jerk. Like, why would you have to include that about the guy? Oh my God.
So, yeah, part 4.
Yeah, August 19th, 1988.
Yep.
Grossed over 49.3 in the US, and it's the highest grossing film in the franchise until Freddy vs. Jason later on.
Wes Craven was asked to write the script, but he wanted to incorporate time travel. And
I saw that.
even Shea and his crew were like, that's stupid.
Yeah. Well, you know what? None of the ideas are good. It's just crazy. Like, I don't know why anyone wasn't like, hey, can we just go back to the original idea? Because that was pretty solid. It's insane. It's insane. I saw an idea where the guy that did 4, the guy that ended up writing 4 was like, oh, babies are always in a constant state of dreaming for 9 months.
5, I mean.
Is that 5? Oh, yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Babies are in a constant state of dreaming for 9 months. So what better way for Freddy to go in through the back door? Because how are you going to scare a baby? It doesn't know anything.
Part 5 is insane.
All right, part 4.
Patricia Arquette does not return.
Yes, and I just want to say one other thing. There was a writer's strike that year, and that caused a massive issue for this. And by massive issue, I mean there was no script. It was a blueprint that they had, like a first draft. And all these movies were, of course, I mean, these aren't like, this is my art. They were hiring writers to go through multiple drafts. And
spoiler alert, the next 2 were just blueprints too.
Dude, it's crazy. And so everyone on set, like actors, everyone involved, had a part in writing it because they were just like, I think my guy would say this.
I know. So stupid. What a way to make a movie.
Just don't make the movie at that point. It's crazy.
Delay it maybe.
And I think that's the real issue with Nightmare is they took the idea strike while the iron is hot, like so literally, like they just banged these out.
And you know what? It paid off for them.
It did. And to the point where they were like, yeah, we don't need Nightmare anymore. Yeah. And that's why they canceled. That's why they stopped making it. Because they were like, yeah, thanks for all the money. Yeah. We're out. It's not going to make money the next one. So, oh, man. Good stuff.
Did you see, I know we're kind of jumping around, but since we're talking about how they didn't have a script, they made the poster for part 5 and released it before they even wrote the script or like hired anybody.
Yeah.
It was just that big stupid eyeball.
They didn't even have somebody to play Freddy in the trailer. Like hadn't even gotten Robert Englund. They released the teaser trailer with like, I don't even know who it was. It was like the director or Rennie Harlan or whatever. It's so stupid.
No more Patricia Arquette, but her character is still here,
which I hate. Just don't do it. Write her off.
Have her dead.
It doesn't matter. It did not matter.
She moved away. Yeah.
You could, here's another blonde that's friends with Kincaid and whatever the other guy's name is, Joey. I don't know. I don't know what the other guy's name is. We get a song sung by
Tuesday Night,
who is Kristen.
Yeah.
So that's good. And we open up with like we shouldn't go through this in depth because I really want to talk about 6 the most, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's back. So is Kincaid and Joey. Yep. She summons them into her dreams. And for no reason. Like she's just like, there's no Freddy yet. And Kincaid's like, basically like, God damn it, leave us out of your fucking dreams. And he's totally right. Like, I'd be so pissed. Like, quit bringing me into this shit. It's got to be taxing. I just want to fucking sleep. She's like, oh, I don't know. I think I heard something in my dream.
She gets bit by a fucking dog in the dream?
Yeah.
Is that her dog?
Dude, I don't know. I think
because later on it's in Kincaid's room.
I think it's Kincaid. I don't know. No, I don't think she has a dog. And the dog wakes up with blood in its mouth.
So much.
God. But that's not, God, I want to talk about all of them at the same time. Like, fuck, I will get to it. It's so hard.
And not only do they bring back those characters, but they introduce like 4 more all at once.
Yeah. And then just the formula for these next 3 is like, here's one character back from the last one.
and then we're gonna add 6 and then kill 5.
Yeah.
Like that's the formula. Like add a bunch, just kill them off and leave one person surviving for the next movie.
If you look up their synopsis on Wikipedia, it's Rick's sister Alice, Sheila, an asthmatic genius, and Debbie, a tough girl who doesn't like bugs. Like, why do you need these characters?
And God, it's so ridiculous. And yeah, Kristen, we meet her boyfriend. Well, we meet Alice and who is the sister of Kristen's boyfriend. There was probably an easier way for me to explain that. But whatever. And he is Rick is a martial arts enthusiast, as we'll learn. Hot and heavy into the martial arts. And the dad, as they're leaving for school, the dad screams at Alice, and the dad's, I guess, drunk. We'll find out. But you kind of get a glimpse of it here because he screams at Alice, and he's like, "You're going out dressed like that?" Alice is dressed like a Quaker.
Yeah.
She is covered from head to toe, and no one's like, "Hey, asshole!" Like, I'm wearing clothes. Everyone's just like, "Sorry, Dad." And Rick comes out of a window and just hangs in the door. He's like, "Oh, I gotta sneak out," but then proceeds to hang off the roof, dangling in the doorway, the open doorway, talking to them like an ape. Like it was the fucking
sneaking out
shit. He's like, "Yeah, well, my dad's taking aspirin."
He's like, "When he takes aspirin, you better stay clear." What?
Yeah, me too, man. Fucking aspirin. They go to school, and that's when we meet Debbie. And Sheila, who's the nerd of the group.
Takes asthma, and some guy's like, "You're sucking on the wrong nozzle."
They always got to include that, except no one's got a better crack at it than when Wes wrote the comeback. And we also meet Dan Jordan, who plays almost no role in this until the end, and then is somehow the star of part 5.
Yep.
It's so weird. It's so fucking weird. So we got Dan Jordan, who's the hunky jock, Sheila the nerd, and Debbie, who is I don't even know. She's like kind of a tough. She's a smart aleck, I guess I'd classify her as.
She's a tough girl who doesn't like bugs.
Oh, right. I forgot that perfect synopsis. So Kristen and Kincaid and Joey are talking, and they're basically shutting her down. They're like, "Freddy's dead, man. Freddy's gone." And then Rick rolls up, this hunky martial artist, and I was like, "Those guys are spooky."
Yeah.
Okay. And here's the other problem with here's like one of my big problems with all these movies is that up until 6, everyone's like, "Get the fuck out of here with this Freddy Krueger shit." Like, dude, we're on movie 4. There's been 4 series of giant murders.
And it's all in the same high school.
And so, yeah, like, and some people are like, "What are you talking about? Freddy who?" It's like, are you, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what is happening? Yeah. But let's see. Freddy is alive, though. Kincaid falls asleep.
Could we talk about how Freddy comes back?
Oh, yes.
Because it's fucking stupid.
It's Thanksgiving.
It is Thanksgiving. Oh, my God. I would have liked it so much more if he said the same thing Turkey says.
Dude, I would have liked it so much more too. And I was like, "Oh my God." I was hoping he would say it because I was like, maybe it was an homage to this. And I mean, I had to. There can't be 2 people in this world that were like.
So for those that don't know,
oh, right.
A dog just pees on his corpse, like his buried bones.
Yeah, just on the ground, and then it opens up the earth and his corpse reanimates.
The dog's like peeing fire for some reason too.
And again, why would that wake him up? Why would that even be? Why would you even use that as a tool? You could come up with anything.
Anything.
Besides dog piss, fire piss. And the skeleton, we see Freddy's skeleton, it gets put back together and he's alive again.
It says here on the site, we minored in film. Mm-hmm. Robert Englund likes to intellectualize Freddy's revival via Kincaid's dog pissing fire on his grave as being the work of some sort of hellhound.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember that. So I didn't watch the documentary for these parts for this episode. Yeah, I remember him saying that.
What an asshole.
That was one of those, moments when I watched it the first time. And I was like, "Joe, this guy's a fucking piece of shit." Yeah, he really was like sitting there like, "I like to think of it as this hellhound that came." dude, just stop and just be like,
It
I have
says-
no idea.
It says here everybody else was like, no, it's fucking stupid. And like Rennie Harlan said that he ran into James Cameron prior to filming. And James Cameron's like, how are you going to bring back Freddy this time? And Harlan's like, a dog's going to piss fire on his grave. And James Cameron was like, okay. And just walked away.
Dude, James Cameron probably fired a restraining order. He's probably ran him out of Hollywood. Like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Also, there's no way James Cameron walked up to him and said that. Rennie Harlan probably screamed it at him for some reason.
Saw James Cameron shopping for groceries. Or was like in the urinal next to him. Hey, you want to know how we're going to bring Freddy back to life? Yeah, I guess. Will you stop talking to me? Dog's going to piss on him. Yeah. So Freddy's alive. He chases Kincaid in so we're introduced to all your favorites are back this movie. And Kincaid puts up zero fight. He drops
Although
a car.
he does somehow push a car over.
Yeah. And then, but then Freddy gets up and I actually like this line. He goes, tell him, or who says see in
Just tell him Freddy said.
Oh, yeah. Who says see in hell, though? It must have been Freddy.
I don't remember. I just remember him saying
Doesn't
Freddy's back.
But yeah, he goes, tell him Freddy sent you. I was like, that's a pretty dope line. If we believe Freddy comes from hell, which the other movies
Where
kind
does
of
he come?
debunk that.
Yeah.
Well, if you believe part 6, it's like Greek dream gods.
I believe nothing about part 6.
Yeah. Then immediately we go into Joey's dream, who he tricks. Joey's sleeping on a waterbed,
Yeah.
and he sees a nude lady in the waterbed.
And Freddy goes, how's this for a wet dream?
Classic. We already covered that last week. We don't need to talk about our wet dreams anymore. And Freddy jumps out of the waterbed like he's Free Willy.
Yep.
It's like this slow motion shot, and he's just jumping up. Yeah, he screams, "How's this for a wet dream?" And then Joey's the way they find Joey's corpse is
He's just inside the water.
inside of the waterbed. An impossible feat that they do. And again, people are still like, "How could this have happened?" And people are still like, when they bring up Freddy, they're like, "Oh, shut the fuck up with that bullshit." Relax. It's Freddy. Like, everyone just needs to chill. Rick starts teaching Alice how to do some karate.
Yep.
Rick and Alice are brother and sister, but I would put money that they were having sex.
Definitely.
Their chemistry is...
There was a point in it where I started second guessing myself. Like, wait,
Are they the
brothers?
couple?
Yeah.
I know. Their chemistry is insane. They definitely they were doing it on the side. And
Terrible dialogue in this movie.
it's really
Because
bad.
there's a scene right around here where they're talking about the Dream Master, and it's just abysmal. And she's like, "Have you ever heard about the Dream Master?" And I think the girl that's scared of bugs is who she's talking to. She's like, sounds like a game show host to me."
And this is where this is how you know, like, you know, you can argue about which ones are better and which ones are worse. There's no way you can argue about the dialogue from the ones Wes wrote compared to these, because like we talked about last episode, like in those, like there was no need for Mangle experts. No one was like, "Oh, I know what's going on," and then explain everything.
Yeah.
And all of these, it's the same thing. Like this Dream Master thing. It's like, "Oh, you don't know what the Dream Master is? Let me just riddle some facts off for you as the viewer."
They're not even facts. It's just like a nursery rhyme she said when she was a kid.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, let me tell you about the Dream Master.
Like it's fact.
Yeah. And Kristen, the actress that plays Kristen, is just brutal.
Yeah.
She was so bad.
They all were.
Yeah, and
Except for Kincaid, who dies in the first 2 seconds.
yeah. And Kristen's in school freaking out that Joey and Kincaid are missing, even though she just got to school at 7 a.m. She's like, "Where are they? I know something happened."
Well, she did dream about it.
That's true. Yeah. And then she gets knocked. She gets knocked out because fucking is it Rick that like pushes her?
I mean, it's like a bump.
And she flies like 10 feet,
Knocks herself out.
knocks herself out on the wall. She wakes up to Freddy and drag.
It's Robert England.
Robert England in drag
He's not
as
in
the
his Freddy
nurse.
makeup. Yeah.
No.
So funny. It looks like any shitty 90s sketch with a librarian, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Guy playing a librarian.
100%. And I wish I watched it now because Robert England was probably like, to get into this role.
Getting into understudied at a library.
Understudied at a nurse's, a school nurse's. Yeah, so I had to put in how much they see, how much travesties they see on the schoolyard. Yeah, and then we hear Freddy go, "Well, I want to draw some blood."
Yeah. His one-liners aren't great anymore.
No, they're not. Which I like. That's where I go like, well, first of all, a big complaint I see is like, I like 1 and 3, and once Freddy gets corny, that's when I don't like him anymore. I'd argue that Freddy doesn't really get that corny. He's kind of the same, and
he's mostly corny in 6.
6, yeah. And so there's not a whole lot of corny stuff going on to like.
This. How much time do you want to spend on this one? Because I could jump to like some things that I think are corny as fuck.
Yeah, jump around. Yeah, that's fine by me.
First of all, this girl sucks. So after she knocks herself out, she like appears in Freddy's old house.
Yes.
And her acting is so fucking bad. She's like, it's not a house, it's his home.
Which, like, why? Why? Oh my god.
And when they get like, then she like brings everybody to that house for some reason. And is that her mom that pulls up?
I don't know.
She's like, Kristen, get the hell away from there.
Yes,
Andale.
Yeah.
Screaming like a maniac.
Like an
and nothing
absolute
comes
maniac.
with that.
No.
But the thing that I thought was ridiculously corny that made me laugh is there's a Freddy shark. It's just this big claw. Shark.
Yes, on the
shark's
beach.
fin. Yeah.
Yes, that was amazing.
And he swims up and he like
so stupid.
electrifies himself into a sandcastle.
And it explodes out of the sandcastle.
And he puts on sunglasses.
Yes, that's like the classic GIF you see online. It's him putting on sunglasses, which he like actually wears around. When was that? Oh fuck. Also the Crave Inn.
Yeah.
Diner. That was a little very subtle. Kristen's mom. So, when does he kill Kristen? Because Kristen's mom slips her a Mickey and like knocks her ass out at dinner time.
Yeah.
And that was so weird. And she starts screaming, "It's his fucking banquet and I'm the last course." What kid would ever fucking say that? What kid would ever say that? Oh yeah, and then the Freddy shark is after that. Yeah, so that's when she passes out because her mom drugged her.
Yeah.
And that's when she sees Freddy shark blowing up a sandcastle. And then she falls into quicksand.
Yeah, she's slowly drowning.
Princess Bride made me so afraid of quicksand.
I need to rewatch Princess Bride. I haven't seen it in years.
I'm not a fan of it, but I mean,
you like
I'm
Andre?
not saying it's like a bad movie. I don't like it. Yeah, and I don't even know what happens. He pushes her through the sand, and like she falls into like a garbage dump.
Yeah,
like,
and then sinks into.
And then he goes,
Freddy's.
"Why don't you reach out and touch someone?" Oh yeah, because she pushes him in. He's trying to get her friends involved in it again, right? Like
yes.
he has already killed Joey Kincaid, and now he's like, "I need more kids to kill."
You're right.
So now the lore is like, just bring me some kids, and once they're here, then I can fuck with them.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
But how do they get there?
Oh well, that's the part that makes no sense. That's just Alice's gift.
She can bring people,
or not Alice. Kristen can bring people into her dreams, like without their consent. Fucking dream rape. And again, I'd be fucking furious. And he's like, reach out and touch someone. And she's like, I'm not going to call Alice. And then all of a sudden she's like, Alice!
Yeah. And
like
she immediately comes to her dream.
2 seconds later, she calls Alice and Alice comes in. And Alice runs over there and Freddy had lit her on fire.
He throws her into the boiler.
Yeah. And then
Alice wakes up and she takes Rick to Kristen's house. They just watch her burning.
Alive. Rick and Alice talk so much too. Oh my God. They just, and now at this point I was like, so what was even the point of bringing the Dream Warriors back? Like now you really didn't need Kristen.
No. You didn't.
Like, well, of all the shit you just fabricate in this series, why not just be like, yeah, she passed the power over to Kincaid and Kincaid can bring him in if you need it to happen.
All you had to do.
Even if you wanted, like, you could have even just been like,
Kincaid also has
you
that
just
power.
found Alan. Because you don't care. They clearly don't care. So this is the jock finally returns. Oh, you know what? I was about to skip over this. After that, they kill Sheila the nerd.
Yeah.
That was a sweet scene. But again, it's like Alice falls asleep and then somehow brings Sheila into the fucking dream.
Yeah. And Freddy's the teacher carving an apple.
Learning is fun with Freddy.
And he goes, "Want to suck face?"
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so stupid. And then Freddy has a giant robot claw too for some reason.
The mechanical arm?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. You have a fucking claw with knives. And Freddy does that gross fucking tongue flick thing again.
Yeah.
Freddy's sexual all of a sudden again. And yeah, want to suck face. And he basically turns her into a deflated balloon. Yeah. And that's it, man.
And in real life, she's having an asthma attack.
Yeah. They just introduce people to kill. You cannot get even invested in a single one of these.
This is probably my favorite scene in the movie, right? Immediately after she dies is, I think it was Rick, right? Rick's sister's upset.
Yes.
And she goes inside and Rick's like, "We're dropping like flies here." And he sprints like Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
But she's only 2 feet away from him. So he's like, and like running like 100 miles an hour and just immediately stops, like chasing
Got to
after.
show off his athletic prowess. And Rick the next day dies.
Yeah. Good.
He he's sitting
Taking a
on
shit.
He's sitting on a toilet when a ton of cheerleaders walk in, and then the bathroom becomes like the most satanic bathroom of all time. And then all of a sudden he's transported to Karate Land.
Doesn't have to poop anymore.
He doesn't have to poop.
Doesn't even get a blumpkin.
Pinch the loaf off, and then sayonara, Rick-san.
Freddy is making such ridiculous karate noises this entire scene. Hooah, hooah.
It's just so bizarre. The whole thing is just, the whole franchise is so weird. They work this guy's karate into it, like, not even a lot. 2 scenes where he's like, "I know karate," and then this scene, and then
Yeah, and he sucks at karate.
and it's all
He
just
dies.
it's all just so Freddy can say sayonara.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're
Rick
at,
dies and he comes back to life in his coffin. But
Yes.
Alice is daydreaming.
I think she's daydreaming.
He does a David Lee Roth impression.
Oh God.
And then there's a nunchuck scene with Alice, though, who's not a karate
Yes.
master.
Yeah. Because Rick trained her that one day, and she was like, "What's a kick?" And he's like, "Let me show you."
She's fantastic at the nunchuck.
Now she's a karate. Oh, you know what it is? Okay, so I just remembered this. Alice is starting to gain all of their abilities.
Yes.
Yes, and I think that's what it was. Because yeah, I remember the same thing. I was like, "What the fuck?" What? Because it's just like a close up, and she's like doing like,
Yeah. She's a pro.
yeah, the like, I don't even know, exhibition, nunchuck exhibition. But she meets up with Debbie and Dan, and they decide they're all going to fight Freddy Krueger together. And Debbie working out, she's looking fine.
So it's all right.
I liked it. Now we get into Alice's daddy issues. I'm not even going to go over to it. Fuck that. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that does lead us to the disgusting Freddy pizza.
The pizza with all people's heads.
Rick, you little meatball.
I love soul food.
That is the dumbest joke.
It's not even soul
It's
food.
not soul food. That's like what pissed me off the most. I was just like, if you're going to do that joke, just throw some soul food into the
Some
mix.
okra.
Yes, something. Whatever, man. And then Freddy's just like, bring me more. He just wants more kids to fucking eat on pizza.
Which is not a thing Freddy does. He's
No.
never eat anybody.
No, and now he's eating souls. And he does the same thing to Debbie, who's working out, and then everyone falls asleep, like taking a shit. We're in the middle of a
Have you ever
lifting
fallen
race.
asleep taking a shit?
No.
Me
and
neither.
And imagine
I poop a lot.
Imagine like being on like a weightlifting bench and then just being like, dozing off. Because that's what happens, right? She's working out and then she falls asleep. And Freddy smashes her fucking arms. That's pretty cool.
That is actually probably one of the better kills scenes in the entire series.
I agree. I completely.
She's bench pressing and he like just snaps it back and the bones come out.
Oh, it's so brutal. But then she turns into a cockroach and gets stuck in a giant glue trap. So stupid. Why add the roach thing?
Well, she hates bugs.
Oh, right. So that's okay.
It still sucks.
So it's Wishmaster now. It's like, oh, you don't like bugs? Bippity boppity boom. You're a bug. And I get it. So like in the first one, like it's so weird what they chose to like leave in about his character and what they were like, fuck it. Like we're just doing it our way. Because like in the
first one, he doesn't transform anyone.
No, he doesn't. But like he toys with people. Like he fucks with people. Like he could easily just kill you right then. But instead he like tortures you through these dreams. So you're like, fuck, I'm not going to sleep. I can't go to sleep because this guy
is true. But in the first one, he's a lot less bullshitty. Like he'll be like, I'm going to kill you. And then you run from him and he's just coming after you.
Yeah.
This one, he's just fucking with you.
No, this one, and that's what I'm saying. Like this one, like they leave in, like he is fucking with people, which I get that element of him. But it's like knocking over the china in 3 or 2.
Yes.
It's like, why? Well, it's not fucking with them.
We talked about last week how he said the glove was too heavy.
Yeah.
Did you see how he threw that bench?
Mm-hmm.
It was the most unathletic toss I've ever seen.
He is not an athletic man.
Takes it. I mean, that girl's bench pressing it, so she had no problem lifting it. He takes it. And he's like,
oh man, that's so funny. Dan is rushed into surgery for some reason. I don't know why. Why was Dan rushed into surgery? Who was Dan? No, Dan's the jock. I don't know why Dan's in for surgery though. Freddy must have got him somewhere. Good job, guys. Perfect.
I also don't know why.
No, I don't have a single note on why Dan is going into surgery.
Well, anyways, isn't Freddy the doctor?
Yeah.
Because he says, "Well, I ain't Dr. Seuss." not even a real doctor.
Alice rescues Dan, of course. And they end up in a church. This is the final kill, the final scene here. Or wait, is this the final thing? Oh, yeah. So they end up in the church. Dan's hurt still in the dream and in real life from Freddy. But the surgeons end up waking him up because his monitors and shit are going off and he's hurt in, again, mystery injuries on the operating table. And they're like, oh, how could this be happening? Which leaves Alice alone. She's alone. She's got to take Freddy on her own. But she has all of her powers, and that's what she ends up using to go after Freddy. But that's not even it. It's a poem.
Yeah, it's the Dream Master poem that she suddenly remembers.
And a mirror.
And it says, like, his reflection, like, he can't look at it.
Yes.
People can't look at its own reflection because then it explodes. Some bullshit. But Freddy is, like, in front of reflections this entire movie. He's throwing people through like glass, and like you can see him looking at himself through it.
I don't think there's a movie where Freddy doesn't throw somebody through glass.
And like peer through it.
People are probably like, this is so Argento. Freddy screams, I am eternal. Evil shall see itself and it shall die. Or that's part of the poem. Evil shall see itself and it shall die. But he says, I am eternal. And I guess the reflections cause all the fucking souls inside of him to push out.
That he now eats.
Yeah. And it's the special effects in that.
There are boobs.
There are boobs pressed up against Freddy's belly that you can see. Totally unnecessary.
They all get released because he gets torn apart.
Yeah. And there's like baby arms growing
Robert
out.
Englund screams like not like Nightmare 2 kid screams, but just like rah, like the next 3 movies.
Yeah.
90% of his dialogue.
Yeah. And in this one, there's like arms and shit coming out of him. And there's like little baby arms. It's so fucking vile. There's like baby arms coming out of his face, or not, like coming out of like his shoulders and reaching into his fucking
and just tearing it apart.
Imagine little baby hands coming into your mouth, like open up your mouth. That's like what they're doing. They're like trying to pull his jaw open for whatever reason. But yeah, it's like to tear him apart. And that's it, man. That's how Freddy dies.
Yeah.
So departure from the first 2 in terms of death. There's no like, I don't believe you.
Yeah. Love doesn't save the day.
No, love does not save the day. How did he die in 3?
I don't remember.
I don't either. Who cares? But yeah, definitely different. Months. We get a flashback to like a few months later, and Dan and Alice are together. Dan tosses a coin in. Alice sees Freddy's reflection in the water, but she ignores it. Dan asks her what she wished for, and she says she will not tell him.
Freddy's killed in part 3 because Nancy like comes back from the
Oh,
dead,
right.
stabs him with his own claw.
That's a common theme, which I'm okay with, but that's how they kill him in fucking 6, and then that was like, it's over.
Yeah. And I'm whatever.
Yeah.
He gets stabbed like 100 things, and it never affects him.
Part 6 is the biggest fuck you to the entire franchise. As much as I like
He's
it,
riding a broom.
as much as I like it, the end of part 6 is honestly just like a slap in the face to all the other movies. Like anything that came in between
Yeah, we
one.
don't like it because it's good.
No, you're right. No, yeah. But
That's fine.
it's a total slap in the face. Like
Of course
it's
it's a slap
just
in the face to movies in general.
dude, the lore, it just takes it and is like, fuck all of you, because it literally just backtracks on everything. It's like everyone's like, oh wait, we can bring them into the human world and then we can kill them. That's exactly what happened in the first one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some people will argue like, I don't even know. I don't know what's up. I'm sure we'll hear it though. Get out your pens, nerds. Well, don't get out a pen. You'll email me. Nobody uses pens anymore. The next year, 1 year later,
Yeah.
August 11th, 1989. $6 million budget makes $22 million domestically, which people were like, it didn't do well. I'll take that profit on a movie. $6 million to make.
Yeah.
You're almost quadrupling your money.
But it was a big hit from part 4, right?
What's that?
Like it went down.
Oh yeah,
Part 4.
like huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think part 4 was 49.
Yeah.
By the way, 49 million in today's ticket sales, $95 million.
That's crazy.
So it was a massive movie. This movie took 8 weeks to make, not just shoot and edit. So they must have been cutting on the fly.
You can tell.
They must have been cutting. They must have been cutting while they shot it. Like they must have shot it
That day,
and started
just bring the
editing.
reels.
Yeah, which I don't know how you did on film. Like they do that now digitally when you're in a time crunch. Like you can edit like as you go.
Wait, so is this movie good?
No.
Oh.
Well, here's my thing. Maybe. Like I think the people involved should all, like the production side of things, should have gotten paid so much money to put this thing together in fucking 4 weeks to make a fucking movie.
Yeah.
And, and the budget's $6 million.
Not Scuzzy Bobo. Sammy Boskowitz.
Sammy Boskowitz. $6 million is like not a lot. Like $6 million bucks. Like it's not like they were like, here's all the money in the world.
Why was the budget so low when they're making so much off?
Dude,
Nightmare?
they were just, and this is my problem with what irritates me with the franchise is they weren't putting money into it. They were just milking it. That's truly what they were doing.
Yeah.
And for some reason, everyone was okay with it.
Yeah.
And kept seeing them.
You said it would have been $96 million today. Part 4. Part 4 finished as one of the top 20 grossing films of 1988.
Yeah.
You know what? Sorry if you don't edit this. People are going to hear it. I want to see what was top films of 1988.
What was
What
was it better than?
Or no, just like what was it in company of?
Yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Beetlejuice, Rain Man, Naked Gun, Fish Called Wanda, Die Hard, They Live, Big. The fuck
God.
out of here. Freddy 4. Coming to America, Scrooged, Bull Durham.
God.
Yeah, here it is, Freddy 4.
And they were raking in cash.
Yeah.
Raking in cash. All they had to do was spend a little extra time. It really pisses me off. It really does. It honestly frustrates the shit out of me. It really fucking does. And that 22 million would be 44 million today for part 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but a $6 million budget.
Can you make that much money over it? Like, who gives a fuck? Any studio today would be like, I'll make 100 of those.
Yeah.
I bet Saw was kind of comparable to that. Like, although Saw probably made, I think Saw made a lot more than that, maybe. I don't know. I'm talking my ass right now. So, but, yeah, Saw was pretty popular. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. So, part 5. Let's get through part 5 and get to part 6. Part 5 is Alice and Dan are back, right? Oh, God, yes. Okay, so Alice and Dan are back. We immediately meet Amanda Kruger in Alice's dream, who Alice is Amanda Kruger.
Well, first, Alice is in a shower.
Butt naked.
Yep. But so much shit is coming up from the drain. And she's not leaving. She's not exiting the shower. She's just staring at it. It's like poop water.
It is poop water.
It's just like, oh, maybe a little.
If you were Freddy, isn't that how you would torture people?
With poop water?
Like before I killed them, I'd be like, because you can like make them do whatever you want in your dream. I'd be like, have them strapped up and eating poop.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then they wake up and they're like, what the fuck? Well, and according to 6, in the real world, you're doing what you were doing in your dream.
Yeah.
Part 6, one guy is walking upstairs. In
Invisible
part 6,
stairs.
In his dream, he's walking upstairs. And then it cuts to the real world and people are watching him and he's walking up invisible stairs. It's the dumbest shit. Imagine you wake up and there's like poop in your mouth and you're like, oh. Freddy pisses in your mouth. I would just do the most irritating things. Just follow somebody around.
Have I ever told you about our friend Trevor? He confided in me, so I'm going to tell it to everybody on the podcast,
Tell the world.
that he was having this reoccurring nightmare in college that some guy kept breaking into his house and tying him up and then taking off his shoes and tickling his feet.
Yes. Yes, I do remember that. That was really weird. And it was like a fear of his, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
He
know
was
if
like distraught over it.
I don't know if it was after that he got the fear or like he had the
What
fear
a weird
before.
fear to have.
But after that, I remember he had like a real phobia of his feet and like
Being exposed.
yeah, he would never let him. He lived with our friend for a while, and he would have to wear shoes and socks at all times, basically. And it was like a real deal thing. Like, so where are we? Alice is graduating, and we have a whole new set of friends to die, and they do.
Oh wait. We rushed that whole beginning. So she's like drowning in the shower,
Yep.
and then like you said, she's Amanda Kruger, but we're watching Amanda get raped. It's like the origin
that was fun.
of Freddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, I remember it being a lot more vivid, not in the sense that, like, oh, they showed the rape, but I remember, like, they kind of explained it more, and they don't in this. They're just kind of like, here's Amanda Kruger locked in a room with
Well, because
100
part
maniacs.
3 explains it.
Do they do it more in part 3?
Well, they don't like show it, but they explain it more. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But
so
for a rape scene of like 100 people raping one person, it was like cartoony. Like there's like wardens up top, like cracking jokes. Like
there's wardens up top, and then they're like, well, I guess we're done here.
Yeah.
And Amanda Kruger's like, wait for me! And then they still close the door behind, like, they're like, they don't hear her.
the whole like backstory of that is so bizarre.
Yeah, it really is. And then oh my God! And the best part of that scene is those guards are trying to count the maniacs, which are packed in like sardines in this room, and literally just like walking and milling around, like walking in circles, shuffling, and the guy's going 1, 2, 3. How would you ever be able to? And then somebody's like, "It's just 100. Mark it down." It's so fucking weird. So then we meet. Alice wakes up. She's graduating. Whole new set of friends. We have Greta the supermodel.
Yep.
Mark the comic book geek. How much did you hate Mark?
Not as much as I did until his death, his demise.
Oh yeah. I hated him from the beginning. And
Oh wait, what am I saying? He had this stupid hair.
Oh yeah,
of course
the
I
worst.
hated him. Yeah.
And we also get Yvonne, who is an overachiever. She like works at the hospital somehow, and
she's a swimmer. Yeah.
Full-time swimmer.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? This is the first time I'm going to say it in this series. Mark is ugly as fuck, man. Mark is not an attractive man, and he's the only guy. Well, Dan, I guess, is in it too. But come on, man.
That haircut sucks.
It's the worst. Everything about him sucks. His acting sucks. He acts like I don't even know who. Oh, the guy that plays such a weird Paul. Randall in Clerks. That's who he reminds me of.
Yeah,
that's who he reminds me of.
Comic book geek.
Yeah. There's a whole lot more of like people being like, "There's no Freddy." Alice's dad is back in this one, the drunk.
Yep.
We didn't really cover too much in the first one.
I mean.
But now he's like Mr. Humble Pie.
Dad of the year.
Yeah. And he's like hiding behind a tree. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't think you wanted a drunk at your graduation. I thought you'd be embarrassed." Hey, Dad, heads up. It's worse to have a grown man hiding behind a tree at a high school graduation. That's a lot fucking worse.
Also, if you're aware of that, just don't get drunk for the graduation.
Yeah. And all of a sudden he's talking like Charlie from Flowers for Algernon. like that weird voice, like it's like, I don't even know, like not mentally disabled, but like I don't have all my faculties. But all he was a drunk.
Yeah.
Because he's going, "I don't take good pictures." She's like, "Can you take a picture of me?" "I don't take pictures."
What does the dad say? He's like, "Come get immortalized, parents and brats."
Oh, that's like Mark's dad. He's like the jokester.
Joke sucks.
Yeah. Dude, I'm just thinking about part 6 because it's so crazy.
She has another dream. She sees Amanda again. She's watching it give birth to Freddy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Freddy looks like that because he was burned. Right? Correct, right? This one, he's born like one of the babies from It's Alive.
Yeah. And the doctor screams, "Holy shit, what is it?" And it has the most enormous head I've ever.
Yeah, and it's also like fully functional. Like just like,
it's like a gray man alien head. It's enormous. It's so huge. It's so weird.
That's not his origin.
No, and it's not his origin. Yeah.
It's a boy.
Yeah. And the nurse goes, "Take solace in that it's a creature of God."
Yeah.
She goes, "That is not a creature of God."
That's a nun saying that, by the way.
Yeah. Oh man, fuck. The Freddy baby screams like the most disgusting scream of all time, and it causes the church to explode. They end up in the church. Yeah. They end up in the church. The whole church explodes, and then Freddy baby becomes Big Freddy.
Yeah. And then Amanda shows up. Then Amanda shows up and is like, "You can defeat him if you find me."
You know what my favorite thing about the Freddy movies are, though? Like, they do try to humanize them, but in like the worst ways possible. Like, it's like this giant pillar. They're in the church and it's crumbling, and like the pillar where like the priest would stand like raises up like 10 feet, like in this like a scaffold. And Freddy's on top of that when he's like reborn as an adult. And he's like on it and then just falls off, like rolls off of it. And you're just like, it's not like frightening. Like that makes you be like, "Who the fuck's this jerk?"
Yeah, this guy is not a threat.
Yeah, not a threat at all. He's so clumsy in all of them. And part of me wonders if it is Robert being like, "Ugh!"
It totally is. Also, like we said, this is the movie where he remembers that people liked when he said bitch. Because Amanda Kruger pretty much says the entire plot here. She's like,
"I thought you locked you away."
He's back. I have the key to lock him back. You need to find my body. And the girl's like, "Yeah, we'll do that." And he's like, "We'll see, bitch."
Yeah. "We'll see, bitch. We'll see." And she goes, "Look for me in the towers." Yeah, it really is all spelled out at this beginning, and then the next hour is just that.
Next hour is
like, "What do we do? I don't believe in Freddy." Like it's insanity. The girl, Yvonne or whatever, does not believe in Freddy until like the last 3 minutes of the movie.
I know.
What the fuck? What the fuck? And like Alice has been here.
Yeah.
All of her friends are dead.
All of them. They're in the same fucking high
Her
school.
brother's dead. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So after this happens,
There's a pool party at the community pool.
Oh, that's right.
Which we don't need to go.
That's right.
They're having a giant pool party and it's at like the community center.
Yeah.
And they're drinking, smashing bottles.
Well, it's just the asshole with the stupid hair because the other one's saving his champagne and he's going to go meet Alice.
Old Danny's going to meet Alice and Alice tries to call Dan. This sequence of events is kind of confusing because like.
Well, then Dan's like, I got to go get to her.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But as he's driving, Freddy's in the passenger seat, pounding the entire bottle.
Pounding the bottle.
Why is he drinking?
Sitting so relaxed. It's so funny.
And he pours the champagne on himself, which causes his arm to fall off. It just melts through him.
Bad year, Dan. Like talking about the champagne. Like
Year of the champagne. What a terrible joke. There's so many like probably better puns you could make.
Yeah, he rips off his arm.
Why though?
So he can use it as a seatbelt.
Seatbelt, yeah. Better buckle up, dear.
His puns in this are so
And then one run is feels the need for speed. Just quoting Top Gun.
Pedal to the metal. Dude, it is so insane. And like again, none of the puns are that good. Like just have the Crypt Keeper write them.
Yeah.
I would have laughed my balls off.
Yeah, they all suck. There is one thing in this movie that made me laugh very hard. We'll get to it in a few. So this kid died. Oh, wait.
Oh, no. Freddy crashes the car. He goes through the windshield, wakes up at the pool, and then is in another dream.
Yes.
And then gets on his motorcycle. Now, this scene was heavily edited for theaters.
It was supposed to be very gruesome.
I think we saw the gruesome cut.
Well, then, never mind.
Yeah. The original cut was like seconds. And this one's like 2-3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
This is the one. Did you see when his face is like?
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking gross. I mean, for the 80s.
Yeah.
There's probably worse.
Of course.
But they hyped it up like the MPAA is going to give us an X rating. And it's not that bad. He's riding a motorcycle. The fucking gadgets like enters.
Yeah, the wires go through.
They tear his face just like completely
He
apart.
turns into a motorcycle.
And then they inject him with.
It's basically Tetsuo the Iron Man.
It is. It literally is. They totally ripped it off.
So much
Would
better.
you rather?
This.
Yeah.
This.
I don't even want to talk about that. Tetsuo's fucking garbage. Trash. So Dan's dead. Oh, and then, so Alice walks out. Alice is also like having premonitions. Like she sees people before or as they're dying, like right before they die, she gets a premonition of how they're going to die. So Alice like runs out and then Dan just gets nailed by a fucking 18-wheeler on his motorcycle. And he dead. Danny's dead. Or he might have been in a truck. I don't even know. I can't keep track of like the dreams and shit. They just blend together. And they go, better not dream and drive. And so much bitch again. Like he's screaming bitch all over the place. Alice runs out. She sees the body. Oh, the body comes to life again.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Alice, want to make babies? And little do we know, Alice is pregnant with Dan's child.
Yes.
We find that out right now. In her dreams, she starts getting visited by this kid named Jacob. Yeah, we just got to get through this.
Yeah. Who's her kid in the future?
Who's her kid in the future? Is that Children of the Corn guy? Malcolm? No. Malachi?
Jacob? Isaac?
Is it Isaac? Is that Isaac from Children of the Corn?
The guy that we met?
Yeah.
No.
He's not that kid?
Sean, that's an actual kid.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Look it up. He looks just like him.
It's not John Franklin. I can tell you that.
John Franklin played kids till he was like...
That is true, but he also looked like a fucking small 50-year-old man.
You're right. All right.
Hold on. Jacob Johnson was played by Whit Hereford, and he was born... It doesn't say.
So Dan's dead. Everyone's mourning the loss of Dan. We got Jacob. He's showing up
Whit Hereford was born in 1978. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Is this a current
Look at this fucking guy.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy. But dude, he looks just like fucking... Is that guy's kid?
It's not.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yvonne sees Jacob in the hospital. and she like goes, or not Yvonne,
Alice.
Alice sees Jacob in the hospital and is like, hey, Yvonne, there's a weird kid came in here. And she's like, there's no kids on the floor.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Because it's so impossible.
And again, a lot of this dialogue that goes on during this is her being like, Freddy's alive. And then being like, get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of that. Alice has
a lot of ultrasounds.
A lot of ultrasounds. Alice's dad comes home in a really poignant scene if the movie was any good or you cared about any of these people whatsoever. And the dad like has this like genuinely nice conversation with Alice where they're talking about the baby and Alice is like, are you disappointed in me? He's like, no, I'm not disappointed. He's like, but I hope it's a boy because I'd like to hear a boy running around the house again because
the son
Rick died. Yeah. I was like, man, that's fucking heartbreaking and kind of beautiful, but no one gives a shit about any of these people.
It's Nightmare 5.
Yeah. And I was like, man, if they had made that, like, if this was a solid movie, that would be a great scene. Like, that would be an amazing scene. And then we get one of our second death. In
the dinner scene?
Yeah.
Yes.
Greta is a model. So she has an eating disorder pushed onto her by her mother. So she obviously has a dream, and Freddy. I don't even know.
Freddy force feeds her like she's
bon appetit, bitch.
That is what he says, and he treats her like she's the glutton from Seven.
Yes,
and then.
But he first tries to serve her like a Barbie doll. He's like, filet de Barbie. That was the line where I was like, oh, fuck Freddy. Fuck Robert Englund. Fuck Freddy. Fucking bullshit.
And then for some reason in Alice's fridge, she can like see this happening.
Right. She's like having like weird dream premonition. It's so weird.
So she opens the fridge and
everything's rotting.
Like her corpse is in there. The model's corpse is in there and Freddy's like pushing her out. Mm-hmm. Did you see what was written on the fridge?
No.
Oh, there's a note that, like, when, like, if your son did something good, you'd hang it on. It just says, die, bitch, written by Freddy, hanging on the fridge.
And Freddy forces her to eat herself.
Yeah.
Before she starts choking, and then she falls down dead at the dinner table to the surprise of her mom and guests at a real dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that death, we don't even need to go into this. Mark's all upset. Mark's bent out of shape. He's got a stupid ass vest on. Yvonne, like Mark is now ready to hear out about the Freddy idea, and Yvonne's like, that's bullshit. And Mark's like, get the fuck out of here.
We also find out that somehow Freddy is feeding Jacob his victims to make him turn into Freddy.
Holy shit. That's what they find out through the ultrasound.
Yeah, it like zooms into like the fibroids.
You know what? 5 and 6 is just this like, but see, 5 took itself seriously. 6 did not. I guess that's the difference between the two. Like 5 was trying to be serious, but it had all the bad qualities of 6. And you were just like they were just explaining, like Alice looks at the ultrasound and is like, he's feeding my baby's souls.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
And like they have this nice built-in excuse.
And the doctor's such an asshole.
Oh my god. She's getting an ultrasound.
I've told you, there's nobody feeding her. Like giving her.
It's so weird. He's like, I don't even think you need this ultrasound. Oh my god, it's fucking insane. Oh my god. It's so weird. Yeah, he's so pissed that she's
like to even warrant that with an explanation. If somebody's like, this is a guy feeding my baby's souls. And this guy's explaining like the scientific reasons why he's not doing that.
Feeding souls to the baby. That is so stupid. That's so stupid. Freddy goes, oh, I see the family resemblance. So Yvonne is still not.
See the family resemblance. It's a fucking like pile of cells.
Fetus. Yvonne's still not on board with all of this, and Mark decides Alice is right. He's going to prove it to Yvonne, and he literally brings a binder full of murdered people to Yvonne.
Yeah,
who's pissed. And then Mark proceeds to suggest an abortion to Alice.
Yes.
Which is also out of control.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here. And he's like, hey, did you ever think about
doing this another way? And she's like, no, I don't really want to do it. He's like, okay, we'll find another way. It's so weird.
And thankfully, Mark falls asleep.
Yeah. Mark does fall asleep. Thank fucking God. And what'd you think about this kill?
He gets pulled in the comic book world.
Yep.
And he takes like the power of his own comic book superhero.
Dude. Well, first he falls asleep and he goes into the drawing and Alice is like, oh shit, I gotta save him. So then she this whole thing is just so fucking flawed. It's unbelievable. Like, so whose dream is it? We don't know. You have no idea, but I think it's Mark's. Mark falls asleep. Well, he has to be, whatever. Mark's asleep. He walks into his drawing. Alice is like, oh shit. So she draws a stick figure of herself in the drawing, which puts her into the drawing. She's in a dream. Why doesn't she just like walk into the drawing like he...
Exactly. It says she has to draw it.
Like that's the key. Like Freddy's hiding out in pictures.
Like, why wouldn't they just be doing that the whole time?
It's so insane. So they both go into this world. It's the continuity is just Mark falls into a giant pit.
Mark becomes a superhero.
Yeah.
Phantom Prowler.
Yeah, the Phantom Prowler. And Freddy chops the shit out of him. Just cuts him to shreds. And I actually thought that was pretty cool.
It was stupid.
Yeah, I think we jumped ahead, by the way.
Of what? Good.
Yeah, we jumped ahead a lot, but fuck it. Because they actually go through that dream period and then get out. And then like a bunch of shit happens and then they go back into the cartoon. Because Mark falls asleep later and goes into the comic books and everything's black and white and Freddy is skateboarding.
Of course he is.
Freddy's skateboarding. And then he like somehow pulls out Greta out of his ass and is like, is she delicious or am I crazy? And then just starts eating like blood off her belly. And then he becomes the Phantom Prowler. And he appears to kill Freddy just with a ton of guns because that's been known to work. And Freddy's back up and is a gigantic superhero, faster than a bastard maniac.
Super Freddy calls himself.
More powerful than a local madman. It's Super Freddy. And then, of course, his pun is, told you comics was bad for you.
It's not a pun.
No.
Don't give him credit.
And tears Mark apart like a fucking piece of paper, just cuts him up. Like Mark is like two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like he is a piece of paper. And I did like the effect that where the ink just like drains from him. Like he's in color and the ink drains from the paper. And he's actually dead from cuts, which is like the first time in like 3 movies where somebody died from his glove.
Yeah.
Like everyone else was like sucked to death or fucking.
That is a good point. He never utilizes.
He never uses the glove anymore.
Holy shit!
He just kills people in the most absurd.
Has he ever killed anyone with the glove?
Not since like 1. And which was awesome when he killed him in 1 with that. Yeah.
Who
So
did he kill in 1 with the glove?
I mean, basically everyone that he dragged up walls and shit.
Yeah.
Anyone with blood coming out of him like that.
That's true.
Not force feeding them and
Johnny Depp's
lighting them on fire.
Fucking shot like 20 gallons. Of
Yeah,
blood.
that was like, who knows what that was. That was just like stick of dynamite in him. Yvonne's finally on board. Good news with like 5 minutes left in the movie. She goes to the asylum to find Amanda Kruger's corpse.
Of course.
Why would you agree to go there alone? Meanwhile, Alice is going to go to Freddy Land and fight Freddy.
And walk up MC Escher
Yeah.
stairs.
Oh, and we missed Mark being a fucking mangle expert. When he's like, oh, I've got just the book on this.
Yeah.
Pulls out a fucking book. I'm like, oh, we got to go find his dead mom's corpse. You're like, oh, okay. It's so ridiculous.
I would argue that the scene where she finally finds Amanda Kruger's bones is a great scene.
Yeah.
Like, it looks cool.
Yeah, it does.
And it has, like, a jump scare. You're like, what? I'll take any type of scare in these movies right now.
That's a big thing. It is just gags. It's just gory gags. It's just like it's insane. Yeah. So Freddy, Jacob, and Alice are having basically like a showdown in an MC Escher painting. There's just like stairs going upside down, and everyone's
By the
running.
way, again, Jacob is the son from the future.
Yes, this is the future son of Alice. I don't know why they were mad at Wes Craven's time traveling.
You know what? I don't know why either. Walking up stairs that lead to the same place, and then Freddy's inside of her, right?
Yeah. Well, Freddy starts shoving his limbs through Alice. How is that not killing her in real life? Like everybody else.
Like in part 2, when he just cuts through the boy.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
The kid's inside of him.
Yeah. They just keep switching.
Yvonne finds the corpse, and the corpse whispers, "Thank you." Disappears in Dreamworld, joins the fight with Alice and Jacob, and she basically solves everything here, man. Honestly, this would have been the way to end the series, in my opinion. I like wrapping it up with Freddy's mom taking a stand.
Fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm mad about it that they didn't now.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
It's a logical conclusion
Yeah.
to the story. Like the bastard. Oh, she's not the bastard. The mom of the bastard. Son.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
It was full closure.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie sucked up to that point, but it would
Yeah.
have still been a nice closure.
And she encourages Jacob to use the powers that Freddy had been giving him with the souls.
Also, part 6 just completely undoes all of this.
Everything unties every tied up end. 6 just snips. So Amanda Kruger's encouraging Jacob. She's like, use your powers. And Jacob's smart enough. He's like, hey, let's go. I want to learn stuff from you. She's no fun anymore. And Freddy's like, okay. Sounds like good job, Jacob. Freddy gives Alice this disgusting kiss. And then Jacob has a one-liner, school's out, Kruger. And he spits the souls back at Freddy, which then start pulling him to his mom. These sperm are now dragging Freddy to his mom. And then they pull baby Freddy out of big Freddy. Maybe this isn't a good ending.
Well,
the concept is
fine.
good. Yeah. The sperm pull out the curious case of Benjamin Button Freddy out of big Freddy. And the infant is absorbed into Amanda while Jacob is absorbed into Alice. And she screams, "Take!" Amanda Kruger says, "Take your baby and leave." And Amanda's locking herself up in the ghost world right as Freddy shoves his claw through her stomach, but he does not escape. And that is the end. And
But he fights with Amanda for like 5 minutes trying to escape.
yes. Yeah.
Why is she not? Whatever.
And then we get a little glimpse at the end with the whole family very happy and enjoying a picnic.
Yeah, Jacob's born now. He's not old.
Jacob is alive, yes, and he's not 13.
Yeah, and then of course those asshole kids are singing Freddy's song while jumping rope.
Yep, and that's
Which makes
how
no
it-
sense.
So
And it ends with a classic Kumo D LL Cool J diss.
you know what I think? I think Robert Englund should be in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Why?
I just think he could excel in that.
But why?
Because he'd have a good writer. I think with a good writer, he'd be good. I don't think he's bad. I think when they're like,
I mean, we have nothing to judge it off.
I think when they're like, hey, just say something really funny here. He's just like, prime time, bitch. Like, I don't know. I'd be curious to see it. I think he'd be good. I think he could do it.
Yeah, actually.
I don't know. It just
Yeah.
strikes me. I think he could, if a really
I mean, if
good
anyone could do it, it'd be Tarantino.
yeah. Although he might be, I think Robert Englund's a little too old to take direction now. Can't teach an old dog new tricks, as they say.
How old is
Who, Robert Englund?
Yeah.
I think he's like in his, I don't even know. He could be in his 60s
He's
now.
69.
Wow, really? Still doing those cons too, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
All right. We left no time for part 6, like we said. All right, everyone. We have to cut it off right here. We went way too long on this. Way too long. So I apologize for that. This is now going to be a 4-part series. Part 3 will cover Nightmare on Elm Street 6, which is not called that. It's called Freddy's Dead. But
that'll get its own episode next week. And we'll also be reading some viewer mail that we received about Nightmare on Elm Street. So please send it in, Sean@IHateHorror.com. Let us know your memories, your thoughts on the series. If you're watching along with us, let us know how you feel about it now, because our opinion has definitely changed from prior to watching all 6 of these in a row. So let us know, and we'll read those on the next episode. And after that, we will be doing New Nightmare, Freddy vs. Jason, and the remake. So those are going to be our 4 episodes. So that's that. So that's that. As always, if you want to support us, the best way to do that is rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. If you do, make sure you send me an email, Sean@IHateHorror.com, and I'll send you a sticker. If you can't support monetarily, the best way to do that is store.IHateHorror.com and patreon.com/IHateHorror. You can find me on Twitter at IHateHorrorShow, on Instagram and Snapchat at IHateHorror. You can find Joe on Twitter at JoeV421, and you can find him on Snapchat at Horror Show Joe, and Instagram at Boognish1985. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. For Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird. Thank you. Adios.